Hello, I'm Alicia Sedgwick, communications coach, corporate trainer and professional MC. I'm delighted to be joined in conversation today with Bertrand Petyt of Vitruvius Partners Group. Hello, Bertrand.
Hello, Alicia.
It's so good to be with you. You know, I met you a few years ago when you were a speaker at TEDx Monte Carlo. Mm-hmm. And I'm the MC for that event. And what struck me about you then was how you are someone who is honest, true, very real, authentic, very kind, very caring, and very thoughtful. And those attributes have come to be very much you through the years that I've now known you as a friend as well as a work colleague. So with all of those attributes, can you also tell us a bit about yourself?
Of course. Well, thank you, Alicia, for this description. I don't know if I can live up to it.
You do.
You did forget something, however. You're also my communications coach.
Aha! Wow.
So I must say, we've been working together for a few months now, and thanks to Alicia, I've become more comfortable in doing videos such as this one. So thank you, Alicia.
Well, that's my pleasure.
So yes, I'm obviously based in Monaco, and I grew up around the area. Also, I was educated in the US, where I got my MBA. And then because I had a passion since I was a little boy, which was cruise ships, I started working on cruise ships initially as officer, and then also in the corporate offices of various cruise lines. I then came back to Monaco and worked as a CEO of a holding company here in Monaco. And recently, thanks to you as well, to be honest, you've been part of it and you are part of it. We started our own venture, which we'll discuss later on, I think, Vitruvius Partners Group, both in Monaco and in Paris.
Fantastic.
My passion is human relations. I've been an HR manager in the past as well as an operations manager. So my passion is, I always say my motto is, I allow people to tell their true stories so they can inspire greatness in themselves and in others. So that's a bit my motto and what I want to achieve in life.
Well, that passion certainly comes through in all of your dealings with people and in your working life as well as your personal life. So it's wonderful. I must say as well that you are a very bright student. So I was very fortunate.
How do you know that?
Because I trained you. So.
All right, yeah.
You're a bright student to me. I'm sure you were in other things too. So we are, of course, going through a pandemic. And how do you think, with all of your knowledge and expertise, that the pandemic, how is it going to affect us and the economy? And also, how are entrepreneurs and business people going to cope?
Yeah, no, very good question, very relevant. Well, you know that I'm a very optimistic person, right? I have an optimistic mind, and with this optimism in me, the only thing I can say right now is we are in deep trouble. You know, let's face it, we are facing some challenges that are unpredictable. We don't know how long it will take. We don't know where we're going. So let's face it, it is unprecedented times, and it's very difficult. The difficulty is also due to the fact that there is a lot of unknown factors that we don't necessarily understand. Yet, with all this bad news, in a sense, there are good news. Companies that will, or individuals that will thrive in this environment are the ones that will put forward a few key parameters. And that's what I would like to focus on in my career and in what I do professionally, and also, as you mentioned, personally. First and foremost, I think creativity is very important. People who will understand that to succeed, you need to be able to find new ways of doing things, being able to, just put on the table things and build something completely new. The ability to be creative is something that unfortunately the education system doesn't necessarily teach very well, because our education system is based on, I would say, the Industrial Revolution, where it's all about understanding systems and understanding how to acquire knowledge. But it doesn't focus too much on key skills, which to me, creativity is a big one. So individuals who are able today to be creative, to really foster creativity in themselves and for others, will probably thrive and succeed in this environment. The second element I think is very important and very dear to me, and you know that very well, is how do you put back the human element at the center of everything that we do? And when I say the human element, it's in a very holistic way. It includes nature, it includes sustainability issues. But how do you factor back who we are as people, what are our needs in a sustainable way, and understand how do you transform that into a new economic paradigm? The way we do things today works on a short-term basis. It doesn't work on a long-term basis. So we need to transform that. And I always say, someone asked me recently, well, do you think things will change with this crisis? And my answer to that would be, well, I certainly hope so. I certainly hope that we don't go back to what was, because what was, again, didn't work. So by applying our creativity, by putting back the human element into the center of what we decide, what we do, I think we'll be able to create something that's quite amazing. It will take time. It takes courage, you know, from a political standpoint, from an individual standpoint, from a corporation standpoint. But if we do it, I do see the momentum. The momentum is clearly there. I think it existed before, but the value, if you can call value, of this pandemic is that it is speeding up this momentum. So there is optimism.
Yes, I so agree with you. I so agree. I should have actually added in, when I spoke about your attributes, I should have added innovative, creative, and very, very human. So yes, you're definitely, you can make something positive out of this crisis. Now, I know that also very important to you is something called change management. Mm-hmm. And I know that that is very significant too at this time, and in terms of a new way of leadership. Mm-hmm. But can you first of all tell us what is change management?
That's a very good question. Well, you know, let's look at two different kind of changes. And I will explain it in a very simple way. On an individual basis, when you, for example, have to yourself adapt to you see something new, you see a new environment, you eat a new type of food, or you make a new plan. Like, for example, you say, well, this summer I'd like to go to Greece, or, you know, so you endeavor into something that is new. In a sense, that's change. It's a personal change, but it's change. Now, change, when taken at the individual level, is always exciting, because we put our emotions into it, because we control it, because it's about us, and we control the parameters. I want to go to Greece, okay, this is what I'm going to do. You know exactly how to prepare a trip to Greece, right? Or if you don't, you have the right source. So when you take change at an individual level, it's always something very exciting. It's always something that brings hope in many ways. Yet, when you take change on a corporate level or on an organizational level, it's the opposite, interestingly enough. It's always this sort of, what's going to happen? You know? It's always a little bit frightening. It's always a little bit uncertain. Change on an organizational level is frightening. It's the opposite as well. Yet, it is the same process. So why? You know, what is the difference? And so what I'm passionate about is to analyze this gap, to analyze this why. Why is there a gap between personal change and organizational change? Because ultimately, organizational change comes from personal change. And it comes from, there's many reasons for that. And the first one that you probably can identify from what I told you is that when you talk about organizational change, you as a person don't manage everything, you don't control everything. So there's a lack of control that makes you a little bit fearful, right? It's not the only reason, but that's a good example. So my passion is to, find out what are the different triggers that make change management more accepted, not easier, more accepted, and more, I would say, engaging. And again, we do it a lot by putting back the human element at the core of everything that you do. It all starts with people. Because again, if you as a person can get excited about a personal change, if you're able on an organizational level to trigger those little positive switches into each one of your team members, then what happens? It's not easy because again, you need to find the right procedures and systems. But this is my passion. This is what I'd like to dedicate my career to, because it transforms people. Again, when you take my motto, which is I help people tell their true stories so they can inspire greatness, it's exactly that. By change management, you allow people to tell their true stories. Also, Alicia, I can point out how relevant is it today that we need to work on change management. And although I promise we have nothing to do with pandemic, we didn't create it, but with the pandemic, people, organizations, governments will change. I think we're facing a great level of uncertainty, but I think we will handle it through changing the way we live, through changing the way we work, through changing the way we operate. And so how relevant is it? It's the best time for this. And again, this is why it fascinates me so much, is because now we have the opportunity to impact people's lives in a positive manner. I want to help people go through this time, which will not be easy, let's face it, but again, as I said at the beginning, can have a lot of opportunities. So let's do it.
Absolutely. So that brings us very neatly onto your new venture, your new exciting venture, which
new venture.
Oh, yes, it's true. I am so honoured that I am involved with the new venture, which is Vitruvius Partners Group. And I'm involved because I am on the panel of advisors. So it's really wonderful, very, very exciting. But tell us what is Vitruvius Partners Group and what's it all about?
All right, so Vitruvius Partners Group, the idea came a few years back already, and when you put a seed, the seed grows, and I think today you see the flower in a sense, and it's only the beginning, it's only the first flower, I hope so. And again, the idea came from the concept of let's help people go through change. So Vitruvius was created, or is in the process of being created, and provides change management advisory services to corporations and individuals, and also ecosystem redesign. That means we work not just on systems, not just on, we're here to implement a change strategy, but we work on a whole ecosystem. That is why we have experts such as you and experts from different backgrounds, because we work with the human element, we work with the technology, we work with all the aspects, the human resources, the marketing, all the different aspects of an entity, of an organization, to make sure that change management is engaging for everybody. So Vitruvius Partners Group has three divisions. Vitruvius Advisory, which is really the company that will provide those advisory services to corporations. We also have Vitruvius Academy, which is more of, it's not a school, we don't intend to really be a school, it's more an academy that provides leadership development and change management development to individuals. So professionals who may think that, I also need to change. Regardless of my company, I also want to change. I want to do things differently. I want to change maybe my life. I want to do something that will impact my life, that will have meaning. And we're here for that, So Vitruvius Academy will be mostly based in Paris, mostly online, providing resources, I call that resources, such as seminars, masterclasses, ebooks, webinars, and so on and so forth, again, to sort of help individuals with their leadership development skills and change management skills. The third entity is not really a commercial entity, Vitruvius Life. This is more about creating a community. I believe also that individually we can achieve only that much. But if you build a community, you can achieve so much more. And the idea is, forget about the traditional marketing. I'm never going to go to the market and say, well, this is what we can sell, This is old-fashioned in many ways. I prefer to work with a community of trusted people that maybe share the same values, the same needs, and get together and see what we can create together. So Vitruvius Life is about creating a community. And we're very active right now on social media. So if you go on YouTube, we created a YouTube channel. We go on Instagram. We go on LinkedIn a lot, obviously, because it's very much targeted towards professionals, and Facebook to a certain extent as well. So Vitruvius Life is about building a community that will work together on, again, leadership development and change management.
Fantastic. Now, if I go to a directory and I Google change management, I'm sure that there are a lot of companies who can help me. What differentiates Vitruvius Partners Group?
Yeah, sure. You can indeed. Change management is not new. It didn't appear yesterday or because we came on the market. However, we perceive change management in a very different manner. So today, if you go to a consultant, let's call them consultant because that's what they are, and you tell them, I'd like you to work on a change management strategy, they usually have an approach of what I call the systematic approach, which is great. It means I come to you and I first analyze your situation, and then I implement systems, procedures, that hopefully will ease the transformation in your organization. That's great. We need that. No question about this. However, again, what I believe is that's only part of the equation. You're missing a lot of other parts which prevents you from resolving the equation fully. The human part. Again, I go back to the human element. How do you factor in the human element? I still have to see a consultant who is going to first work with the human element, who is going to work on an ecosystem redesign, and that's the word that we use at Vitruvius. Not just on the systematic approach, but really on an ecosystem redesign that implements change broadly on all the different stakeholders, not just the employees, on all the procedures, of course, but also on what it means, what are the impacts of each change procedure in your organization.
Fabulous. Very, very exciting. Very exciting. So how do we contact you, Bertrand, at Vitruvius Partners Group?
All right, well, we have a website, www.vitruviuspartnersgroup.com, but I think if you look below on the video, you will have all our contact details. And please contact us, and Alicia and I and all the other team members will have the pleasure to help you and to meet with you.
Absolutely, and we are very much looking forward to meeting you. And thank you so much, Bertrand, for your innovation, for your creativity, and always thinking about the human element. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you very much.